Welcome back for another Nomadic mining episode 5. This one's a new system, as always. This system's a little populated, about 16 people in here, and a lot of that has to do with home front operations kind of going on. Let's get these mining lasers on, start doing our thing. I'm probably going to start doing wallet updates and every few episodes or so, just so that we're not, kind of rushing back to do the sell thing, but that way we can get actually that extra cycle in that we've been kind of cutting off and whatever. So we're just kind of look at D-scan here a little bit. Looks like we got a rattlesnake, Vector Navy issue, some Sentry drones, Vexor. So as far as anomalies go, it's like pretty much all these people are going in for the home front operation. This system does actually have rats in it. The first doesn't even have a whole lot of asteroid belts, and we've got 3 asteroid belts in this thing. The first one I went to actually had 2 frigate rats already on it, so we'll see if we get them over here. If we do get them, we'll start orbiting just to mitigate damage, but we'll see how our tank kind of holds up against that, but should be fine. Shouldn't really have too much to worry about for that. Once we actually get more shield skills on this alt, then we should be able to put maybe some amps or something on and kind of modify the fit as we go. We might end up deciding to drop one of these mining lasers for a damage control or an inert stabilizer that'll allow us to fill this other slot with some sort of a tank if our shield goes down a little bit too much from frigates. But I don't think those guys do a whole lot of damage anyway, so I'm not too overly concerned with that. A lot of what I'm doing when I'm mining out here in these systems is just kind of managing this tune. She's got a ways to go before she's kind of what I would consider max trained or fully trained in mining. We have a lot of these crystal skills that we're going to be doing. A lot of this stuff like complex, coherent, all those crystals are going to be used for the rare ore sites. So we're not really kind of trying to push out too far too soon. We want that training done, so when we get into those 0.5s and we see rare ores, then we have the crystals with us to utilize that, because that's just going to help our wallet even more. I've got the structure browser up here, a lot of NPC stations in here. I have this filtered now by market because that's really kind of our biggest thing. We really want market so we can offload this stuff, and then we can actually, while we're mining, just kind of go in here and see if there's any orders in range. And we're still doing good. We're still pretty close to JITA, so until we get like 40 plus jumps out, I think we won't really have any issue. And even if we are 40 jumps out, then we can sell to buy orders in Heck, do Dixie, Wrens. So we should be able to very easily offload our ore as we kind of go. It's not going to matter when we get done mining which one of these stations we go to sell, as long as they have a market. They're good to go. Let's go and do a D-scan again. Salvage drones. I don't expect to see a whole lot of change on this D-scan. You see a mole track unit. You see the home front operation beacon there in the PvP window. That's why I actually track those citadels and those beacons and stuff in that window, because it lets me kind of get a faster, better picture of what's going on in the system and why we are populated and whatnot. But other than that, we're still in a highly populated system, not far from JITA, so we're going to have a lot of people in local. Normally, when we start getting out into like 0.5s and stuff, then we'll be very excited to see systems that only have like 2 or 3 people in them. But we have to be probably like 6 to 10 jumps from JITA, away, and also away from like the main trade route that kind of connects JITA and Heck and stuff like that. When you start really seeing, daytime in the United States, a lot of places in and around JITA are not very populated. I've found several systems that I've mined and only been the only person in that system pretty much all day. And then when you get over into like European time, other times and zones and stuff like that, then a lot of people start logging on. So that goes back to what I was talking about in a lot of videos on the channel about kind of casing a system. If you're going to plan on being there for a long amount of time, know when most people who kind of live there are mining or operating, because the less people are in local, the less chances are you're going to get messed with. So we're not really too concerned about that with this series. Our goal is to mine here, put it on our list, and like I said in other episodes, we're tracking everywhere we've been. We're tracking the system, the security, and then eventually when we get 100 systems down, it'll become more relevant. When we start really kind of hunting for systems that we haven't been to yet, I knew I was gonna need to like track it in some form. So that is going to be definitely a nice thing to have. Yeah, we just got that one anomaly here. Every time it's kind of a habit to me too, is every time I see movement, every time I see something move in like local, I just kind of inadvertently hit V, update DScan, and really I'm just looking for anything really crazy, big spikes of like catalyst or something like that. But we're in a pretty good position here. Even if we saw catalyst coming in, then all we have to do is just F1, F2, and then F3 to cloak, and then we would just warp to a station, warp 100 to a planet or a moon, and we'd be good to go. Other things you can do too is just go straight down or straight up. So hold down Q, go up to like 22, and then go straight up or straight down, just so when people are kind of coming into the belt on the same plane as the actual warp in, or even on the rocks, if they like are just tagging rocks to get near you, then you're kind of pushing yourself perpendicular to that axis and everything. We're going to finish this cycle and we'll be good to go. This system will be complete, and we'll just kind of keep moving and grooving. The nomad life. Eventually we will probably end up like carrying a lot of stuff with us, so that we have some variants. We can like, mine a bunch of stuff. This character is trained to actually run a crane, a blockade runner, so we could fit a lot of broken down ships into that, to give us some variants. We could essentially get to the point where we can carry both the endurance and the prospect, depending on what we need to do. If there's going to be a lot of rats in a 0.5, then we can take the endurance out. We have options like that. I'm not going to show in this episode the selling and all that stuff that we've done in previous episodes. Probably do that every other episode or so, just so we can kind of like utilize the 8 minutes of mining and everything. But that's going to be it for this system, guys. Let's go and cut these lasers, and I will see you guys in the next one.